Chairman and Secretary General of National Organization for Disabled and Orphans, NODO, Mr. Lamin Manneh has called on government to fully implement the Disability Act 2021 and increase support for persons with disabilities across the Gambia.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you. Voices are my guys, and I've been with them for long. My name is Mr. Lamin Manneh, the Chairman and the Secretary General of National Organization for Disabled and Orphans, NODO, and also a disability rights activist. I've been in the activism empowering the right of persons with disabilities since 1984. But the organization I'm talking about has been legally registered in 2007. The very year we registered the organization, that's the very year I became the Chairman and the Secretary General, empowering persons with disabilities in all sectors of life throughout the whole country. Thank you. NODO, the work and the mode of the NODO is to empower persons with disability in all sectors of life throughout the country. Organization without a boundary. We don't only focus on our membership. We focus beyond our membership, both in the Gambia side, because we have been supporting persons with disability even in Senegal and Guinea-Bissau, and as far as Mali, because we have people physically challenged looking for wheelchairs, etc. We've been supporting them. Yeah, the challenges are huge. When you talk about persons with disability, it's a cross-cutting issue. Persons with disability matters are a cross-cutting issue, and persons with disability are facing a lot of challenges in the country, as well as the organizations empowering them. Financially is a number one problem. It's a challenge that is affecting the operational. And also logistics are also a problem for organizations. And when it's come to empowerment also, is also a challenge, because a challenge in the sense that, yes, people are talking about the inclusiveness. Yes, they are inclusive, but they are not being empowered. If you include me, you talk about inclusiveness, I should realize what is the effect before the word inclusive and well before or after. But it has nothing to do with us. It doesn't change any level of expressions of persons with disability as far as the word inclusive. Inclusive sector, another sector around that is education sector, that you might think that persons with disability are now in the mainstream line with their siblings who are not persons with disability. Fine. But when it comes to facilities, nothing has been improved in that area. So it's a challenge in life. It's a challenge for everyone, more particularly persons with disability. Now, government has recognized the NODO since the inception in 2007 during the Second Republic. But my activism has been recognized by the first president where I work, whom I worked with 11 years before the coup. So the late Sadora Karabaja, I worked with him 11 years before the coup, and he acknowledged my activism as person fighting for the right of persons with disability. And the Second Republic as well as the Third Republic. But recognizing an organization empowering people with disability is not the end of it. The most important thing is the word inclusiveness we are talking about, and the opportunity, the equal opportunities for persons with disabilities, and how to have access to the national cake. The national cake has been highlighting the potentiality and the creativity of persons with disabilities in the adult already. It's a problem. No, yes, thanks to his leadership, President Adam Barrow, during the coalition. And after the coalition, I thank him for appending his signature on that Disability Act. It's a very good achievement for the country and for the entire world, because their Gambia was able to be recognized as that they are also part of the system, that they have been ratified and domesticate the instrument. But it's not been implemented to the fullest, because from 2021 to 2026 today, when you talk about the employment of persons with disability.
Manneh said NODO's work extends beyond serving its members, with the organization committed to empowering persons with disabilities across Africa through partnership with organizations in Senegal, Guinea-Bissau, and he stressed that persons with disabilities should not be neglected and called for their full inclusion in education, healthcare, and all sectors in government. He acknowledged the government recognition of NODO since its establishment in 2007 and commended it for enacting Disability Act in 2021.
To my knowledge, from 2017, I would say, but even 2021, even well before President Barrow appendix his signature on that instrument, until 2021, when it became Disability Act, No persons with disability have been employed in this country. I can attest to that, and no one can challenge me on that because I'm dealing with them and I have data for them as far as employment is concerned. Well, for the NGOs, they are doing their best because they are complementing the effort of the government, but the government itself are not complementing the effort of the NGOs or persons with disability, to be honest, because we believe as a duty bearer, they should set an example. They should be the first to employ and making sure that they put a pressure on the stakeholders like NGOs and others to employ it. But employment is not the only sector affecting persons with disability. Let's go to the education sector. Even our fellow persons with disability who are visually impaired are not fully empowered through their gadgets for them to access education to the fullest, like Braille, electronic recorders, and so forth. That is the way to empower persons with disability, more particularly visually impaired. You go to hard of hearing, they need accessible devices that will help them to hear and to know, but it's not available. So if you talk about the Disability Act implementation, you can always look at one sector, that is inaugurating the Disability Council. I call it a so-called Disability Council, but even them, they cannot function well due to lack of resources. So if the council cannot function lack of resources, how about the organizations? Organizations have been subvented since this former government, second republic and third republic. They don't compensate any organizations operational on disability matters. It's only 2 years ago when the Barack government gave $500,000 to 10 organizations, each $50,000. Think about each of them, their membership are more than 50 people. Given 10 organizations 500,000, each organization received $50,000, and each membership are more than 50 people. How are they going to benefit from that $50,000? And also, you come to the government allocation to persons with disability matters. Only $4 million is started coming in 2004 because 2024, because 2021 the Disability Act was domesticated and it was acted. It was being signed by the president, thanks to him. But after that, 2021 we are not budgeted. 2022 we are not budgeted. 2022 we make alarm. Serious applicant. Then they came out with a budget of $4 million in 2024. And nothing has been changed. Nothing. 2025 also, there was no budget until only 4 million again. And I'm telling you today, the same 4 million is being injected into the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, our land ministry. And then what do they do? It doesn't change the lives and aspirations of persons with disability. They are not even paid, and they should be paid. They are not given scholarship. They should be given scholarship. They are not being employed. They should be employed. So you can name a lot of challenges that persons with disability has. If Disability Act is fully implemented or is being implemented halfway, I doubt if there'll be any persons with disability in the street begging. And they need a dignified life. It's a national cake. We should have an equal opportunity with the so-called able. But why are they being neglected? For me, they have been segregated, completely marginalized, and completely neglected by the duty bearers. That's the bottom line. Otherwise, today, none of them will be in the street begging. They are struggling with the skyrocket of the essential communities in this country. If the so-called able are struggling with the economy, they are struggling with the living status of the country. How about people with disability? They almost die.
Manneh said, Disability Act has not been fully implemented to 3% employment in public sector and government sectors. He also praised the support provided by developing partners and non-government organizations, the NGOs, including CRS, Child Fund, and Action Aid, for their support.
So that's it. It depends. Some they have 75, the minimum. I have more than 250 members across the country. Well, yeah, but what can we do? We don't even change anything there. I don't even touch it because I leave it in the hands of my deputy and the other party people with disability. But to be honest, my persons with disability life and aspirations they are in a serious mess as far as government of the day is concerned. They are not being focused, they are not being catered. None of them can challenge that. And also, if they are being catered fully, we believe from 2017 after the change of government, because we had a very big hope on the government when we changed the government. People with disability also contributed massively to the change of the government. before the election, during the campaign, and during the campaign, during the election, and after the election. We supported the president and his entire coalition. We had a very big hope that at least after the change of government and also after the President Appendix signature on the Disability Act in 2021, we have the confidence, a very big hope that things of that magnitude should be a thing of past. But nothing has been changed. We're still struggling day by day. Well, there are so many NGOs that are doing their utmost best to complement their effort. But you see, sometimes the language used to be complementing government effort became so much disappointed in that because you'll be doing something, not only creating an atmosphere or an enabling environment for NGOs to operate. That's not the only thing. Government should do 75% of their responsibility. And then the non-governmental organizations, individual donors, and the private sector can also come in and contribute 25%, make it 100%. But they are doing far more than the government. You come to NGOs, I would say all the NGOs are doing their utmost best because, first of all, CRS has been empowering people with disability, child fund, Action Aid, etc. They are dealing with persons with disability because I encountered so many programs with them. So I can attest to that. And then through their support, even now we are able to have a project funded by European Union called Disability Pathway Project to empower children with disability to access education, technology, and play. That has come through the support of the CRS and then funded by European Union, of where I am also, my organization is part of that project, empowering children with disability. But imagine we have been trying to serve best we can enroll in making sure that no child is left behind. Every child, either being a boy or a girl, should not be at home, should be given access to education, technology, and play. So we went throughout the whole country. First trip was 31 towns and villages to look to engage community leaders as well, the governors, as well as the chairmen of the area councillors, in telling them how effective and how important education is to children with disabilities. So it was a successful one. The project is still ongoing, and we hope by the time it's finished, we'll be able to get so many children with disability who are left behind who can have access to education. So in the area of NGOs, they are doing their utmost best in supporting persons with disability. Yeah, we normally, well before the Disability Act, we dealt with them, parents and caregivers, because there's a law before the Disability Act. The 1997 Constitution has been empowering persons with disability, protecting life and aspirations of persons with disability. And we use those instruments, we use those 1997 Constitution to protect the malpractice or abuse of persons with disability. Moreover, when Disability Act is being implemented, is now been enacted in 2021, and now it has been into law. Any parents or caregivers who have been abused, who has been abusing the persons with disability, once the matter reached to our decks or to our knowledge, we dealt with them according to the law, because the law is there to make sure that we are all treated equally, because we are all equal under the law and we are all equal under the eyes of the Lord. So there shouldn't be any discrimination when it comes to law. And I thank our judiciary very well for being supportive to persons with disability matters. No. Abuse of persons with disability up to court level has never, not to my level, because there was one incident which happened at the turntable between the person with disability, female, and an able man. They have a small problem at the turntable regarding about the business, okay, because they are neighbors. So, but at the end of the day, they were able to sort out that problem at the police level. And I thank God about the security personnel also that are supporting persons with disability. But the man was arrested, detained for 72 hours, and after he was asked to compensate the lady, and then the matter has never reached to the court level. So I can attest to that security personnel are also supportive to persons with disability, as well as judiciary. In 2007, we've been empowering people with disabilities in all sectors of life.
He further alleged that persons with disabilities were not allocated a dedicated budget in 2021 and 2022 until advocacy prompted government action. According to him, government allocated $4 million for disability-related programs in both 2024 and 2025?
First of all, we are providing them with wheelchairs, crutches, strollers, etc. Because we know the only way, the number one thing to empower persons with disability should be accessibility. If he or she doesn't have accessibility, or he or she cannot move, we don't expect the person to even have access to education. So we focus on providing wheelchairs, crutches, other devices that can support them. And also we continue to partner with some institutions, both in the Gambia and outside the Gambia, and getting scholarship for persons with disability. And then I was able to empower one or two of them, I remember, through some organizations or some institutions that are able to employ persons with disability. And whenever I see advantage taken on the persons with disability, I take it as myself. Whether you are a member or you are not a member, even if you happen to be a foreigner, but an advantage taken on you, I take it seriously to the highest authorities, and I make sure that the justice take place. But no one is above the law. So those kind of things, and my daily programs on the radio programs on called Hot FM Disability Advocacy Program, is very powerful and is doing well. So imagine I am able to provide wheelchairs for Gambians and non-Gambians, both in the Gambia and neighboring countries, as I said before. So, and then I also seize this opportunity going throughout the country to see how they live and where they live, and even what they eat. I do go and do that. So there are some individuals, there are some institutions that are supporting me in the sector, people like Emmanuel Youth, National Human Rights Center, in the owner, the proprietor of Hot FM Radio, Mrs. Thomas and her family. And then you have people like Social Security and Housing Finance, and that of Mala, the director, Access Bank, Mr. Martin, the entire Access Bank, and also Trust Bank Gambia Limited, Davana Electrical Company, Gambia Port Authorities. You can name Gamtel Gamsel. You can name so many. Prime Insurance is the only insurance company in the country under the leadership of Mr. Saj, supporting our initiative. So I have so many institutions that are partnered with me. An individual both in the Gambia and outside the Gambia, like Self KJT, a well-known philanthropy in the Gambia, and also one Babakar Sani and wife in America, Lamin Diba in the United Kingdom, and I have Seko Kamara also in France. I have so many of them in Germany as well, in Spain. So NODO is an organization with a different, because we believe scary and sorry. And there's another woman who is very supportive to people with disability, a 97-year-old woman, 97-year-old woman, completely at home, called Dr. Flores Mahoney, a first Gambian woman to obtain PhD. And she's a writer, 97-year-old, supporting persons with disability. Any feast we have in this country, Christmas, Tobaski, Idul any program we have in this country, a 97-year-old mama, grandma, Dr. Flores Mahoney, is supporting persons with disability. So NODO, this is why NODO is powerful. It's true. We have institutional individuals, and I thank media. Media have been very supportive to every person with disability in this country. Moreover, with NODO, the National Organization for Disabilities, and my organization, is a very friendly media friendly. Many TV and electronic recorders also are always willing to give us a support, and they are doing that. So that makes NODO be a NODO today. That's why you said you heard of me before coming. And don't forget, I'm the first person as persons with disability to contest in an election in 2021, showing to the Gambians and non-Gambians, entire world, that if able can do, persons with disability can do. And I did it in 2021. And I won, because why I said I won, I got my ticket. That is to spread to the entire world that disability is not inability. If I can do it, about children with disability today, if they are empowered with the advancement of the technology and other accessory devices, I believe the generation yet to born will do more than what I did. So I believe together we can make it. And together we can change the stigma, the serious stigma against persons with disability. There are a lot of stigmas against persons with disability. That should be a thing of past today. We are partnering as organization partners, as an organization partners. Remember, we even have partners in South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, and others. We are partnering with them. And then support of some members, some non-members of persons with disability. That's why I said NODO has no boundary, because we are able to supply some individual persons with disability in Senegal with wheelchairs. And we are able to do that through the Gambian Transport Corporation, Gambia GTSC, are very supportive to us. Whenever material we want to send to Senegal, they did it free of charge. They go and deliver to their depot in Senegal, and the beneficiary will go there to receive. So we do that. Guinea-Bissau as well. Even as far as Mali, we have some other bosses who are helping us, dropping some gadgets to people with disability. That's why NODO has no boundary. And we are partnering with other institutions outside the country. That is, places like Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, even Namibia today, I have a partner there. So Nigeria is also part of it, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone. So NODO has no boundary. So we are moving because we've seen that disability in the Gambia and disability in the sub-region and in the African, we are all one. We are all facing the same challenges. If you go to them, they'll tell you their challenges they're facing. So why not we all support one another? So this is what is called partnership. And that partnership will empower everyone so that we see ourselves as human, we see ourselves as a taxpayer, and we see ourselves as a Gambian citizens and even non-Gambian citizens. And it has to be a collective responsibility for all of us to create an enable environment so that everybody can participate. Okay? Once you believe disability is not inability, come on, the sky is the limit. You can't do anything. But they need to be empowered through education, through skills, etc. We don't want to see them in the street begging. Each and every one of them need a dignified life. So once they're begging in the street, then they fail them. So it has to be a collective responsibility. What we are asking for them, when people say the language appeal, to me, it shouldn't be an appeal. It's a matter of must. It's an obligation. The moment you appendix your signature on an instrument, you accepted the deal that I'm going to do this and this and this and this. I'm going to implement this and this and this. But by virtue of failing that implementation, automatically no one should call it appeal. It's you fail your obligation. To me, as far as I know, I'm a victim of polio. And as far as I know, as an activist, as far as I know, as a chairman, the Secretary General, they should do what they already signed. Not appeal. It's not a privilege. It's an obligation on them to provide and to protect. It's an obligation for them to employ in the employment sector. It's an obligation for them to provide them with scholarship. It's an obligation for them to provide them with accessories devices. So it's not a privilege. It's a right for them to have all these things. So let government do what they promised to do. They already commit themselves by signing that documents. So we thank them for doing that. But once they are able to implement the Disability Act, I doubt if we will be able to continue facing the same challenges that I am talking about. The challenges I'm telling you today is not a today challenge. We've been facing these kind of challenges from the 1965 when Gambia became independent. Imagine when I completed my education. After my education, I went to the British Telecom School to learn telecoms. Before I got employment at Gambia, I was completely segregated. Because out of 82 students, I'm just telling you the examples. Out of 82 students, I came second. At the interview, I was dropped because I am passing with disability. Is that right? I had to fight for it. To make sure that up to presidential level, leaders and Bibi Dabo, to their knowledge, and they make sure that I got the job that is required for me to do because I studied. This is how so it means if I don't fight for it, will I be employed? No, it's not the leg doing the job, it is the brain, it's the mindset. So let them not talk about physically challenged or albinism or visual impaired. They are doing well. Every sector of persons with disability are doing well. Let them do what they are supposed to do. They already appended their signature on that instrument. Let them implement it. Once they implement it, come on, it's a population of 300,000 to 400,000 persons with disability in the country, less than 500,000. Why not implement it so that it can change the lives and aspirations of persons with disability, rather than going to the social media, televisions, and etc., to the donors that persons with disability are being inclusive, we are doing blah, blah, blah. When you are practically, you are not doing anything, absolutely. This is totally unacceptable. For me, this is where my stand is. And then I'm urging them to do one thing. We have an open door policy. We want a dialogue with them. We want to sit with them. Tell those so-called policy makers, I call them, the so-called technocrats, I call them, because the Gambians are good in policy making, but they are the worst in implementation. How can an able person bring a good policy when you are not persons with disability? You care less about it. They hardly focus on it, on the implementation. Let us be given the opportunity to implement. We can do it. Let persons with disability head those areas. When we are able to head those areas, come on, the implementation will be very easy. Because the Englishman said, he who feels it knows it. Let's say if my organization, we have 19 organizations approximately in the country. If all those people are given grant to empower their membership, if all those among the 19 organizations have been given the empowerment to making sure that they create an enable environment for their members to be employed, either in a formal sector or in any other sector, we will do it. Because he who feels it knows it. But if those institutions have been headed by an able person, and none of them are not persons with disability, none of their family members are not persons with disabilities, tell me, how would they take it? Slowly. They will not take it seriously. So we want the authorities to know that this chair they are sitting on, we can sit on it and we can do it. We can even implement it far more than them. Let us be given the opportunity to do it. We'll do it. Thank you so much, Abdullah, and thank you so much for all the entire staffs and management of Voice. They are our guys. Voice have been there for us. Anytime we produce an article, Voice is already always stand by to publish it. So we thank you so much for being with us and spreading the information about the challenges and the achievement that persons with disability are facing. We hope our next interview will be at the office.
He continued to emphasize that persons with disabilities continue to face challenges in accessing scholarship, employment opportunities, and other forms of government support, even though they fulfill their tax obligations like other citizens. I am Abdullah Defe reporting the Voice Online TV.